How's it going, metalheads, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be one of my discussion videos where I just talk. I don't have a script, not reviewing anything, just talking about something that I think is interesting and something that needs to be talked about. So today we're going to be talking about the difference between how metal, presents itself and then the underlying characteristics that make it sort of not what it pretends to be. And with that, I'm talking about the fact that metal pretends to be, this rebellious, like, fuck you, music genre to societal norms and things like that. But the underlying characteristics of that as well, I try to keep my channel a more positive and accepting place. There are some. It's weird. Metal attracts a lot of people who maybe don't fit in anywhere else. They have some characteristics that make them different from everybody else, such as being gay, transgender, non-binary, those sorts of things. And metal also attracts an equal number of people who dislike that for whatever reason. It attracts a lot of, I don't want to generalize Republicans, but that's generally the consensus in that party. So I'm just going to use that as a, like a generalization. People who have those views will just say it attracts an equal number of both, and it causes a rift right in the middle of metal that I think really sucks. Racism, sexism, all that kind of stuff, transphobia, homophobia, all that kind of stuff is right in the middle of metal, I feel, a lot of the time. And while I don't enjoy talking about it, I do think that it's kind of an interesting phenomenon that it attracts those people who, because metal, it is a rebellious genre. It goes against all the musical norms. It does stuff its own way, but at the same time, the people who listen to it could be people who also agree with that, or people who hate all of that and want to, a lot of those people, a lot of it has to do with religion and stuff. So there's a bunch of, Christian people who are opposed to that, stuff like that. So I feel like it's a very interesting phenomenon for metal to attract both those people and then have a rift right down the middle of, it's a great music genre, but at the same time, there's a lot of racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, all that kind of stuff right in the middle of it. And I just think that's kind of weird. I really don't understand, how something like that would attract both those kinds of people, but then again, opposites attract, so maybe that's why they like the same kind of thing. If you guys watch the Metal Meltdown, you'll know that he just did a video about, he does angry fanboy drinking games where he, reads angry comments of fans from a band. He just did the 6 Feet Under one, and there was an alarming number of people that called him out for not even like saying what he was talking about the band, but just for saying, hi to his non-binary fans and his non-binary viewers. And that was very alarming to me. I consider myself a 6 Feet Under fan, but I don't want to be associated with that group, because I'd like to make it very clear, and my stance very, open to everybody, that I am not opposed to anybody based on those kinds of personal beliefs. Your, sexual identity, gender identity, all that kind of stuff. If you like metal and you want to talk about it and you want to be cool and talk about it and not, talk about all that politics stuff, and you just want to hang out and talk metal, it's fine with me. You're welcome on my channel. I don't want to associate myself with all those people who, just made a big deal about that, not even the music. So that also alarmed me. And I know my friend Ty has had some issues with, that kind of thing in the past too. And so that really rubs me the wrong way. And, I'm not calling anybody out for this, but because I don't really know anybody specifically who's guilty of this, I'm just saying in general, I'd like for all of that stuff in metal to stop, because it really does hurt people sometimes, and we don't need it. Metal can just be a place where everybody's welcome. We don't have a lot of those places anymore because politics and world events have fucked a lot of shit up for a lot of people. And so I feel like metal should strive to be one of those places where people are welcome and everybody's welcome and stuff like that. But while this stuff still exists, I don't think that's going to happen. But I just like to put my position out there and talk a little bit about it, because I thought it was interesting, and also it's affected people that I watch or I know. And so, yeah, it was kind of interesting that, it attracts both those people who are, part of those minority groups that feel different or feel ostracized by society and stuff like that. And also people who genuinely hate those groups because of who they are, which is really dumb. And those people are, bigots and really annoying, to be honest with you, because they never really offer any good reasons why they dislike those people. It's just they do. And while you're allowed to dislike somebody based on their personality traits, I feel like you should have to get to know them first before you make that decision. And, generalizing a bunch of people off, that is annoying and, kind of a hypocritical trait. So, yeah, kind of a short video, but I just wanted to talk about it real quick, because I thought it was an interesting phenomenon and something that I feel strongly about needs to stop, and that everybody should be welcome in metal. So let me know what you guys think about this. I know my subscribers are very, I haven't had a lot of hate yet on YouTube, and maybe that's because I'm not part of that community, but at the same time, my subscribers are, for the most part, a very nice bunch of people, and I'm very grateful for them. So if you'd like to become part of those people, if you want to join a awesome metal community, please subscribe, because that would be awesome. I don't really ask you guys to do that a whole lot, but I'm trying to make this a safe space. At least, even if we can't make metal a safe space, I'd love for my channel to be a safe space where people can come and just talk about what they love, which is metal. I love metal. If you love metal, we can hang out. Plain and simple. Doesn't need to be we don't need to talk about anything else in our lives based on that. I will just talk with metal with you. So yeah, if you like that, please subscribe, because this is an awesome place to come hang out and talk metal with a bunch of people who also love metal. But yeah, anyway, kind of a short little video. I just want to get some out for you guys. I'm still working on those album reviews that I promised earlier this week. So yeah, I'll get those out as soon as I can. But in the meantime, hope you're all doing well. Have a nice day. See ya.